Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Bondi, welcome. Thank you for
Thank you.
your long career in public service, and thank you for your willingness to take on this incredibly important office. You know, I have to say, I don't know that there is a more important position in this new administration than the position to which you have been nominated, Attorney General of the United States. I thought the exchange just a moment ago with Senator Hirono was illustrative. She asked you how you would respond if the president asked you to target his political enemies. It's rather striking because it's not a hypothetical. It has happened over the last 4 years. And I think perhaps the most tragic legacy of the Biden-Harris administration has been the politicization and the weaponization of the United States Department of Justice. And we don't need to ask hypothetically because Joe Biden publicly mused and allowed the New York Times to report it, calling on Merrick Garland, why will he not prosecute Trump more quickly?
Hey, fellow patriots. Welcome back to the channel where we cut through the noise and tell the truth about what's really happening in Washington, D.C. Today, I've got a doozy for you. Senator Ted Cruz absolutely nails it in the Senate hearing for Pam Bondi, President Trump's nominee for Attorney General. The left is losing its mind. And honestly, it's about time someone spoke up for all of us who are sick and tired of the corruption and weaponization of our justice system. Let's lay it out.
And Merrick Garland, sadly, he sat in that chair and promised to be apolitical, and he broke that promise almost the instant he walked into the Department of Justice. If you look on the west pediment of the Supreme Court of the United States, just above the entrance, there's a simple yet profound four-word phrase, equal justice under law. We have seen over the last 4 years a Department of Justice that systematically targeted the political opponents of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that systematically protected his friends and allies. And it is tragic to see the loss of confidence in the American people, in the Department of Justice, and in the FBI. I would note, I don't think there's an institution in America who has lost more respect from the American people than the FBI has in the last 4 years. That is a grotesque violation of the obligation of the Department of Justice and the FBI. So I want to start with just a very simple question. If you are confirmed as Attorney General, will you pledge to fairly and faithfully uphold the law regardless of party?
So help me God.
Amen. Look, and I want to be clear for folks at home. I don't want a Republican Department of Justice. I don't want a Democrat Department of Justice. I want a Department of Justice that follows the damn law. And I think the American people do too. That shouldn't be too much to expect. Now, I'm grateful to President Trump for nominating you. I think on any objective level, you're clearly qualified for this position. You have been a prosecutor for decades. You have been the elected Attorney General of the state of Florida, the third largest state in America, for 8 years. Let me ask you, in terms of your practice, how many criminal cases over the course of your career have you personally handled?
Handled thousands.
How many of those were before a jury?
Hundreds. I don't want to overstate, but hundreds. I was in a courtroom for many years. I tried 4 when I was an intern, jury trials. I think you had to try at least 20 in misdemeanor before you went to felony. Then you were in court every day, and I was also lead trial attorney for many years trying many cases. So.
And how many of those cases would have been before a judge?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds as well, but hundreds before a jury, I would assume.
And as Attorney General of Florida, how many lawyers did you supervise roughly?
Approximately 400, Senator.
Now, I also want to clarify something. During the course of this hearing, several Democrat senators have referred to you as President Trump's, quote, personal lawyer. Now I don't believe that is an accurate characterization. As I understand it, you represented President Trump as a White House special advisor during his first impeachment trial. Is that correct?
Within Office of White House Counsel, yes, Senator.
And is working within the White House counsel's office different than representing Donald J. Trump individually as his personal lawyer?
Absolutely.
How's it different?
You're working for the government. You're working for the Office of White House Counsel. You're not representing him in his personal capacity.
And so you have not represented him in his business affairs, in his personal life, or in any of the criminal trials he has faced?
No, Senator.
And you know, when it comes to weaponization, it's worth noting that in more than 2 centuries of our nation's history, no president had previously been indicted, no president had previously been prosecuted until the Biden-Harris White House came along. And in the last 4 years, we've seen Donald Trump indicted and prosecuted not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 separate times.
And 2 assassination attempts, Senator.
I have to say, Javert from Les Mis would be chagrined at the efforts of Democrats to do anything possible to take him down. And I believe the real target in this was not President Trump, but it was the American people, that these prosecutions were brought because partisan prosecutors were terrified that the American people would do exactly what they did in November of 2024 and vote to reelect Donald J. Trump.
By 77.3%. Million Americans, 77.3 million Americans.
Will you commit every day as Attorney General to follow the law, to follow the Constitution, to uphold the rule of law without favor and without regard to the partisan position of any criminal defendant?
Yes, Senator.
That's what we should all expect from an Attorney General. Thank you.
Senator Cruz starts by welcoming Pam Bondi, someone with a decades-long record of public service, someone who's actually qualified for the job, unlike some of the activists we've seen in this administration. Cruz nails the importance of the Attorney General position. Look, folks, I don't think there's a more critical job right now. The Justice Department has been weaponized against the American people for the past 4 years. And you know what? It's not just a talking point. It's fact. Cruz references Senator Hirono's question about whether Bondi would target political enemies. He says it's not hypothetical, because it's exactly what the Biden-Harris regime did. Biden publicly pushed Garland to speed up the prosecution of President Trump. The New York Times reported it. This isn't some right-wing conspiracy. It's what's actually happening. The left always projects what they're doing onto us. They accuse us of politicizing justice, but they're the ones who turn the DOJ into their personal attack dogs. And here's where Cruz hits the nail on the head. The American people have lost faith in the Department of Justice and, sadly, the FBI. And who can blame them? The FBI, once the world's most respected law enforcement agency, has become a joke, a tool for the political elite. That's not just my opinion. Look at the polls. People don't trust these institutions anymore. And why should they when they see the DOJ targeting parents at school board meetings, ignoring Antifa riots, and going after President Trump for political reasons? Now, let's talk about Pam Bondi. This woman has handled thousands of criminal cases, hundreds before a jury. She's run the 3rd largest state's legal department. She's not some activist lawyer parachuted in from a left-wing nonprofit. She's a real prosecutor who knows the law and knows how to lead. Cruz makes it clear Bondi is the opposite of what we've seen from Merrick Garland. The Democrats try to claim Bondi was Trump's personal lawyer. Absolute nonsense. She was a White House advisor during the impeachment. That's not personal representation. That's serving the government. She never represented Trump in his business or criminal trials. The left keeps trying to muddy the waters, but Cruz sets the record straight. And folks, let's not forget, before Biden and Harris, no president in American history had ever been indicted, ever. Not once. But Trump gets indicted 4 times, and we're supposed to believe it's just a coincidence? Give me a break. They even tried to assassinate him. Twice. The left is terrified of Trump because he stands up for you, the American people. Cruz is absolutely right. The real target isn't Trump, it's all of us who dare to think differently. And Bondi? She pledges to uphold the law, to follow the Constitution, and to treat everyone equally, regardless of party. That's all we want. We don't want a Republican DOJ or a Democrat DOJ. We want a DOJ that follows the damn law. Is that too much to ask? Apparently, for the left, it is. Here's my take. Patriots. This hearing shows exactly why we need to take back our institutions. We need people like Pam Bondi, tough, experienced, and committed to the rule of law. We need to root out the corruption that's infected Washington. And we need to hold these left-wing activists accountable for the damage they've done. If you're as fired up as I am, do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. The mainstream media won't tell the truth, but we will. Let's get the word out and take our country back. Remember, America is worth fighting for. Stand strong, stay informed, and never back down. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.